Okay, so we're about to dive into a culinary mystery that's almost 2,000 years old. It's a fantastic story about a sacred recipe, a really fierce debate between ancient scholars, and it all comes down to a single word that changes everything. Welcome to what I'm calling the Great Heavenly Bake-Off. So, at the very heart of our mystery is this deceptively simple question. When you're preparing this special offering, do you bake it first and then fry it? Or do you do it the other way around, fry it first and then bake it? Sounds pretty straightforward, right? But the answer was a matter of some seriously intense debate. Now, we're not talking about just any old recipe here. This is the high priest's griddle-cake, an offering that's described way back in the book of Leviticus. So, getting this right wasn't about winning some cooking competition. It was about fulfilling a sacred commandment with absolute total precision. I mean, the stakes really could not have been higher.
So, how did this whole culinary conundrum even begin? Well, the ancient text itself was a little bit ambiguous. It described several steps for preparation, and that ambiguity is what led to a major disagreement among some of the greatest minds of the time.
So on one side, you have Rabbi Yohanan. He argued for baking the cake first and then frying it. But on the other side, you've got Rabbi Hanina, and he insisted no, you have to fry it first and then put it in the oven. So you've got two brilliant scholars looking at the exact same holy text, and they come to completely opposite conclusions. And that's the real puzzle here, isn't it? How does that even happen? It's not like one of them just misread the instructions. The answer, it turns out, lies in how they each interpreted a single, incredibly crucial piece of evidence. The key to this entire debate, the reason both sides could be so absolutely certain they were right, hinges on the interpretation of just one single word. And that word is tufinei. In the original Hebrew, this word describes the offering as baked pieces. But here's the thing about Hebrew. Words can carry echoes of other words and phrases. So the real question was, what does tufinei actually imply about the process? And that's where our two teams of scholars really went to work. So Rabbi Yohanan's side, they made their case with this really clever bit of linguistic analysis. They argued that tufinei sounds a lot like the Hebrew phrase te'afena na'ah. Think of it almost like a pun. This phrase means they shall be baked when they are beautiful. And when is dough at its most beautiful? Well, when it's pristine and uncooked, right? Before it's been fried. So for them, the clue was right there in the sound of the word itself. You bake first. But Rabbi Chanina's side heard a totally different pun. They claimed tufinei sounded more like a slightly different phrase, te'afena na, which means they shall be baked when they are already partially cooked. And how would they be partially cooked? By being fried first, of course. So it's the same word, but a completely different interpretation of its hidden meaning. For them, it absolutely had to be fry, then bake. So just when you think you have to pick a side, team bake then fry or team fry then bake, the story takes this fascinating turn. Turns out this wasn't just a two-sided debate. A third scholar, Rabbi Yosei, comes onto the scene, and instead of just picking a side, he looks even closer at that one critical word, tufinei, and he finds a clue that everyone else had apparently missed. He offers this incredibly creative and, elegant synthesis. Rabbi Yosei's big breakthrough came from noticing something that everyone else had overlooked. The word tufinei is plural. To him, this was a massive hint that the offering had to be baked, wait for it, more than once. So instead of choosing a side, he synthesized them. He argued that you have to follow both interpretations. You bake the dough first, when it's beautiful, which satisfies Rabbi Yohanan, then you fry it. And finally, you bake it a second time, when it's partially cooked, which satisfies Rabbi Chanina. It's just such an elegant solution that finds the truth in both arguments. So why are we dedicating this whole explainer to an ancient griddle cake? I mean, it's a fair question. It's because this debate is about so much more than just a recipe. This whole argument over a griddle cake is really a perfect window into a particular way of thinking. It's a masterclass in interpretation, and it reveals this deep-seated belief that every word, every single letter of a sacred text is just filled with layers of meaning, and it's all just waiting to be uncovered through logic and careful analysis. This whole debate is remarkable because of what it reveals. It shows this profound reverence for the text, where no word is too small or insignificant. It showcases a really sophisticated use of linguistic analysis to build an argument. And maybe most importantly, Rabbi Yossi's solution points to this intellectual culture that values synthesis over just pure opposition, a culture that believes real truth can be found by bringing different valid ideas together. So what's the final takeaway from this ancient culinary dispute? Well, it leaves us with a pretty powerful idea to think about. I mean, what does it say about a culture when its greatest minds dedicate this level of intellectual energy to perfecting a single recipe? It suggests that for them, meaning isn't just found in grand pronouncements. It's found in the meticulous, the reverent, and the logical pursuit of understanding, right down to the very last word.